So 5 whys, that is an actual documented process, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly right. In business, they use it all the time. And so ask yourself, I want to do this. Why do you want to do this? And then go down 5 layers and you're going to find not only your core value, but how to align your life with it.
All right, let's play Cat.
Hi, Mel. I love your podcast. I've moved so many times in recent years that I am starting to feel like I no longer belong or fit in anywhere. I've noticed how this has made me very insecure to the point where the social anxiety before dinners with new acquaintances or even encounters with old ones has made me so insecure that I have lost all my wit, my mind goes blank, and I feel like I cannot even have a proper conversation anymore. It's like I've tucked myself away somewhere so deep because I'm constantly trying to fit in somewhere different, somewhere new. How do I recover the ease of just being comfortable with being me?
Kat, growing up in a really tough family, my parents split up, and what I thought to myself is that I wasn't enough. I wasn't strong enough to keep them together. I was strong enough to stop the fights. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't enough. And for many years of my life, that was what drove my behaviors. I just believed I wasn't enough. And so I avoided anything that could even prove that I was enough. And so personally and professionally, I feel your pain. And the first thing we need to do is really, really shift the way you're talking to yourself. Right? Trying to belong with other people, the first thing we need to do is belong with ourselves. And to belong with ourselves, we need to know what's meaningful to us, because we cannot belong with others without belonging with ourselves. And so I want you to pause. And for anybody listening, if you feel like you don't belong, I need you to find your true values, your true north, and think about the things that you've already done that proves that you belong. Right? I in the last chapter of my book, I talk about this. My brain, there are times it will scream still, I'm not enough. It's like sometimes we can't quiet the old beliefs that we create as a child, but I don't longer have to listen to it, right? When I had the opportunity to come meet with you, Mel, the first thing was like, what if she doesn't like me? And I was like, well, I'll find out if she doesn't like me, because guess what? I am enough. And that's the other thing, Kat. Tell yourself you're enough, just the way it is. We are imperfectly perfect, and that's okay.
If Kat's sitting at a table, because I know you struggled with social anxiety when you were little, and your grandmother basically dragged you to a Chinese restaurant and then made you walk with her and sit down at a table where there was an open spot and be with people. She did exposure therapy with you when you were a kid in Brazil. What tactical advice or strategies can somebody like Kat use now as she's starting to embrace that she's enough? But, she's in that situation where the stress is through the roof and her mind is scrambling. Is there anything she can do while she's sitting at the table?
There is. So the first thing I would do is really create a list for yourself of the things you're scared of, right? There's going to be having dinner with the president. That's different than having dinner with Mel Robbins. That's different than having dinner with Aunt Susie. That's different than having dinner with, a coworker that you really like. So the first step is really starting to think about approaching things where you're still uncomfortable, okay? But the discomfort is not so paralyzing that your thinking brain is no longer there. And you want to actually, the juice here is doing the same thing over and over again. So if there is a coworker that you feels uncomfortable, but you like, and you feel like you can have dinner, have a conversation, schedule 3 or 4 dinners with that coworker, 3 or 4 coffee dates in the middle of the day, 3 or 4, moments that you walk around the block. The activity doesn't matter. The exposure is to your discomfort. And you want to do the same thing over and over and over until dinner or coffee or walking with that coworker feel like nothing. And when that feels like nothing, in fact, most of my patients say, now I'm bored with this. Then you move up. Then you move up. And then you move up, right? And what your brain starts to learn is that perception that people are scary. And that's what happened to my brain. Oh, I can talk to the old gentleman. Oh, I can talk to the woman that looks like a mom. Oh, I can talk to those teenager girls. Oh, now I can talk to the hot guy, right? you move through the hierarchy, that list, in such a way that you retrain your brain so it stops firing and telling you there's a lion at dinner table, and there's really not. There's just people there.
Awesome. Let's go to Spencer.
Hello, Mel. My name is Spencer, and I am a huge fan of yours. I am a 20-year-old student going to college right now for business and working 2 part-time jobs. My future plans were to go into social work to get that experience under my belt and then go into teaching. Although part of me still wants to experience a job in business and put my degree to use. All in all, my wheels are spinning and I am unsure what to do next. Also, a reason I'm still in business in college is because it is being paid for through where I am working, and if I can get my hands on a free bachelor's degree, I will be saving a lot of money. The urge in my long-term goals is to be a teacher. I want to go into social work so I can understand the background of many types of home lives, so I will have the knowledge to inspire the younger generation and especially know how to properly teach students. I am, of course, living in a big ball of anxiety and depression. I've had previous experiences of friends talking down to me, don't feel as productive as I should be, and have not taken action to fulfill the dreams and plans I have. What advice could you give to me so I can boost my confidence, make my current friends and new people want to be around me more, and fulfill the dreams that I have for my career? I must also add, I eventually also want to be a motivational speaker, life coach like you, as I do love learning about the brain and inspiring people. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
So I think Spencer is stuck on not knowing what matters to him. If you really think about it, people are attracted to people that love themselves. People are attracted to people that genuinely are living a life that's aligned with their values. And so he's trying to get this validation from the world and doing things so the world tells him he's good enough. And doing that's going to get him stuck. It's sort of what you talked about, Mel, this idea of like you're out in the world, you're doing all these things that everybody's saying, Mel is good, Mel is amazing, right? But you are not living your true values. So then you're miserable. And so, of course, Spencer is in a ball of anxiety because he's trying to get the world to tell him he's good enough. Instead of sitting with himself and thinking about, okay, and he has an up here. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to eventually be Mel Robbins. Well, what are the steps? Right? What are the actions and why?
Yeah, why do you want to do? Because what's interesting about my career is that I never said I want to go do that.
That's correct. You evolved here, right?
Yes, I evolved here, and I'm not saying that it's either good or bad to be like somebody who's like, boom, I know exactly what it is, versus being like a butterfly that floats all over the place. But how does somebody who feels really lost do that values exercise?
So when you're really lost, really sit, and I think Spencer should do this. Like, why do I want to be a motivated interviewer? A motivation speaker. Okay, I want to be it because I want to impact people. But why do you want to impact people? I want to impact people because I care about mental health. Why do you care about mental health? Because the brain is something that matters to me, right? Asking yourself 5 whys is one action way to get to the core value. So why does this matter? And then ask yourself, why does that matter? And why does that matter? Right? For example, when I went through my transformation, one thing is I wanted to make money. Like if I leave, I have to make money. And people are so embarrassed to say, I want to make money. Listen, people need to pay their bills. And for me, my family is still in Brazil. There's a lot of people that still we need to support. And so, yes, I wanted to make money, but what is the why behind that making money? I could make money. I could have a private practice that is booming. In fact, I had a wait list of 2 years that I had to stop because I couldn't have people wait for 2 years, right? But that wasn't going to drive the impact. And when I got to impact is when I got to the real value of what's driving me right now.
So 5 whys, that is an actual documented process, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly right. In business, they use it all the time. And so ask yourself, I want to do this. Why do you want to do this? And then go down 5 layers and you're going to find not only your core value, but how to align your life with it.
I want to talk about a transition that a lot of people have trouble with, and that is waking up. The transition from sleep and your bed to starting the day. We have a question from Jen on this.
Hey Mel, do you have any tips on eliminating or handling wake-up anxiety? Every morning I wake up, I feel like an elephant is on my chest, and then my mind finds every awful thought I've ever had and replays it.
Whenever we wake up anxious, the brain wants to make meaning of that anxiety. Right? The first thing that she's talking about is that She wakes up with this elephant in her chest. So I bet she can't breathe, or she feels compression, or feels that tension. And then we do the opposite of what we should do. We stay in bed and we invite all of our distorted thoughts to play a song in our head. That's what we do. And then we start to believe those thoughts as if they're facts, right? And we start to make meaning of that anxiety. And so if you have anxiety when you wake up, there's two things I want you to do. The first one is get the hell out of that bed. Just get the hell out of that bed, right? And your 5-second rule here, Mel, is super important. Get the hell out of that bed. That's the first thing. But the other thing I needed to do is this. We need to learn why you're having that anxiety. Waking up super anxious is not something that everybody has. So what's happening here? Very likely your day ahead is not in line with your values. Very likely the first thing you're going to do is something that you don't want to do. And we all have to do things that we don't want to do. But if life is only a shit pile, well, it gets hard to get up.
That's true. You don't want to step in it.
You don't want to step in it. Shit stinks, man. So you don't want to go there. And so you really need to then reassess your life, because if you go to bed at night and you wake up the next day and there are things in your day that brings you joy, they are connected with your values, even though you're going to do things that you don't like, the stress is much less. And so we need to look at that avoidance. What is this person avoiding in her life, right? That is keeping her stuck. Because if we don't look at the true infection, then we're going to continue to have that anxiety. So yeah, you can get out of bed, but then you have a whole day that you're having that anxiety for no good reason. Let's actually shift. Let's shift the way you're talking to yourself. Wake up and try to be your best friend. What would your best friend say to you right now? Approach your day and make sure it's aligned with values, and go opposite action. What's one thing I can do this morning that is value driven, right? For me, it's just even taking a walk in the morning. It's health. I don't have to do the Peloton every day. If I have 10 minutes, go outside and walk for 10 minutes. Just that is getting ahead of that anxiety.
It's true. We have another question about, this is a really good question. I really related to this one from Julie.
Hi, Mel. I found myself being very impacted when a friend leaves the country or the city to move somewhere else. At the beginning, I thought it was because I didn't want to lose that friendship, but more deeply, it was also challenging because I felt that I should be doing something different. It puts me in a place of anxiety where I don't trust my choices. Am I just being stupid? I need to know how I can truly be comfortable with the choices I make.
There are so many pieces on this question, because the first piece is whenever we lose a friend, there's a little bit of grief. Like if there's somebody that's really meaningful to you, you're going to have some sadness, right? Mm-hmm. That's just expected. But then take that sadness and transforming into, I'm doing something wrong. There's something wrong with me and my choices. Where is that about? Like if she was sitting here, if Julie was sitting here, I would want to ask her, like, what it is about your current choices that are making you uncomfortable? Because there's something that Julie didn't say in that question that I think is behind it, which is, am I living my best life? Right? One person, in the middle of my transition, somebody said to me, are you your best self right now? And that question stopped me in my tracks because I wasn't my best self. So in Julie's case, my question for her is she her best self? Because I wonder if she's asking these questions based on her friends is the way she's avoiding her own reality. You know, facing reality does not mean we like reality.
That's true. I get what you're saying, because when you see somebody else moving on, it makes you question whether or not you should be. Mm-hmm. And I felt that way when I was living in Boston and people would move. Even if they didn't live in Boston, I saw friends like relocating to different areas that lived somewhere else. I'd be like, I should be doing that because I was not aligned in my life with my values.
That's it. The only reason that question comes up and applies to you is because you are not comfortable in your own life, but we want to avoid transition. So we just we replace and throw into other people when really it's like, we are not doing well. We are the problem, not the friends they're moving. They're doing things that we sort of want to do, but it's a secret between ourselves and we're like, that's the problem.
That's the bold move.
That's the bold move.
Oh, you are so good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of this wisdom with us.
Thank you, Mel. And I want to particularly thank you for your vulnerability here. I pressed a little hard on their emotions. I know I made you uncomfortable, but staying with it, I think will help people see that you can overcome, and that by feeling feelings, we're actually in a better place to live our best life. So thank you.
Well, thank you for pressing me, because I understand now what's actually going on underneath the surface, and I'm not concerned at all because of our conversation
Look
about
at
our
that.
daughter coming home.
Look at that. And
Yeah.
that's what we hope for everybody listening to us, right? Just think, and you could be concerned for weeks. You're talking about panic attacks, and now we just get to enjoy the national anthem. And I want to see the video of her singing.
I will get you the video, but I literally had a major shift happen because I authentically, not paying lip service to this, I authentically see the discomfort as a really, really important thing for her to experience. And my job is to simply hold space and support her as she experiences it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean, I look at my own transformation, white knuckling through this massive life change over these past 2 years, and how much I hated it. How much at one point I tried to get the house back that we sold. I mean, just
Holding on to the
hold
old.
on, baby, oh my God. And thank God I went through this.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Mel. The mornings crying, trying to figure out what to do next, they were so important. I feel like my life integrated. Now I have this little girl, grew up in poor in Brazil, a Harvard professor, accomplished author, who now can go and take on the world. And if I hadn't gone through that pain, I wouldn't be here.
Well, thank God you did. Because we're all benefiting from it. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.